Now we start with U.S. President Donald Trump has declared a big victory over Democrats as the longest ever U.S. government shutdown edges towards an end. Speaking at a Veterans Day ceremony at Arlington National Cemetery, Trump has praised Republican leaders, noting several Democratic senators broke ranks to support the bipartisan deal. The compromise bill is set to reopen the government pending a House vote. Let's listen into what U.S. President Donald Trump has said.
And congratulations to you and to John and to everybody on a very big victory. We're opening up our country. Should have never been closed. Should have never been closed.
Meanwhile, U.S. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy has warned that flight disruption could worsen if lawmakers fail to end the government shutdown. Severe weather and cancellations have caused over 1,200 flight cancellations and 3,600 delays nationwide. Staffing shortages at air traffic control have improved, dropping from 81 issues on Saturday to just 4 on Tuesday. With more controllers returning, air travel is gradually normalizing, but Duffy has emphasized the urgency of passing the funding bill to prevent further disruptions and potential airline groundings. Let's listen into what the U.S. Transportation Secretary has said.
Over the last 3 days, as many of you have reported, we have had significant staffing shortages with our air traffic controllers. Saturday, Sunday, Monday, very rough travel days, significant cancellations and significant delays. However, today has been a much better day. A lot more air traffic controllers are coming in. So just for comparison, on Saturday we had 81 staffing triggers. Today we have 4. So I think our air traffic controllers are seeing an end to the shutdown and feel more hopeful, and they're coming into their facilities. So we're grateful to them for all that they're doing.
Now for this discussion, we welcome Matthew Vadam. He's an American journalist, joins us live from Washington, D.C. Thank you very much, Matthew, for joining us again. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Thank you. Now looking at this, how might President Trump's framing of this shutdown's resolution as big victory influence public perception ahead of upcoming elections? And how significant is this breakthrough or the political compromise that has enabled this bipartisan deal to reopen the government?
Well, it is definitely a big legislative victory for President Donald Trump and his Republican Party, which barely controls both chambers of the United States Congress. Definitely a big deal. So I don't think President Trump, who is known to exaggerate on occasion, I don't think he was exaggerating today when he said this was a big deal. It is a big deal. Americans are quite focused on it, and now it's starting to affect them because those people, those 40 million Americans who are dependent on food stamp assistance from the federal government, haven't been getting their food stamps for the last few days. And there have been major disruptions at U.S. airports because they are operated, I guess, largely by the federal government, and air traffic controllers and other personnel haven't been getting regularly paid. So they've had to dramatically reduce the number of flights. Now, the U.S. House of Representatives is expected to vote on this today. That is Wednesday. It's just after midnight here in the Washington, D.C. area. And it's expected that they'll vote on this late today if enough House members can get back in time from their home districts. You see, because of the problems with the airports, they may not all make it back in time, so the vote may have to be held open. So I'm just, guessing. Maybe it won't be resolved until Thursday instead of late Wednesday. But when they do get around to voting, it's pretty clear that the government shutdown will end, And the Republicans have emerged victorious, even though opinion polls tend to suggest the American people believe the shutdown is Republicans' fault, even though really it's the Democrats' fault for continuing to vote against funding resolutions.
And what do you think, what lessons would this shutdown handling be for the government, and could this shutdown's handling redefine partisan dynamics in Congress moving forward?
Well, I think that it's taken a big toll on, while Republicans have looked bad in the eyes of the public, which tends to believe, in my opinion, unjustifiably that it's the Republicans' fault, the Democrats are tearing themselves apart over this because they're very angry with Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, the Democratic senator from New York, for agreeing to end the shutdown. And they think that he could have done more to continue fighting for the Democrats' position. This shutdown was caused because Democrats wanted tax credits, expensive tax credits, more than $1 trillion worth, to be extended in the form of subsidies to people under the Obamacare Act, under the Obamacare law. So it's subsidy for poorer people for their health insurance, and they wanted, a big sticking point was that Democrats wanted illegal aliens to have their health care covered by the federal government.
Yes.
In theory, illegal aliens don't get federal health care, subsidized health care, but in practice they do, because a lot of the federal funding goes to state programs which are happy to provide government funding for illegal aliens to receive health care. So I think that this has been more damaging to, nobody emerges completely unscathed from a government shutdown, but I think it has done a great deal more damage to the opposition party, that is to the Democrats, than it has to the governing party, the Republicans.
Right. With that, I would like to thank Matthew for sharing that insight. Please stay with us as we come back to you for our next discussion as well. Now, moving on to